You want me to attend therapy? All the guy's gonna do is just listen to me talk. Group therapy? You mean I have to talk about my problems in front of other strangers? What is it like to go through solo therapy and group therapy? Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Therapy Thursdays. Again, if you've been tuning in and been faithful to the channel, I appreciate you, and we will continue to grow. And as long as the knowledge is getting out there, that's really all I care about, whether I have a couple dozen fans or a couple million fans. As long as the information is getting out there, as long as people are becoming healthy and mentally healthy individuals, and we're becoming better day by day, it's really all I can ask for. It's really all any of us can ask for. This week's episode, I want to talk about my experience, as I often do, because really that's all I can talk about is my experience. You have other people, like actual licensed therapists, that study books and study techniques, but I'm kind of on the receiving end as somebody who's been through 3 years of psychotherapy, and I gleaned from my experience, and I want to share it with other people because we hear different things about therapy. It's good, it's bad, it's weird, and I want to give my perspective because I'm somebody who's actually done it, and I did it consistently for 3 years. So I'm just sharing my experience, and I want to share it so that you guys are more comfortable and open to the topic of therapy and attending a therapy session, whether it be solo or groups. But I want you guys to hopefully glean and gain from my experience so that it will motivate you to seek out therapy for yourself. Because I can be as healed as I want to be, but I don't want you guys just watching my story. I want you to be a part of it. I want you to have your own story, and I want you to be healed and be healthy and be the best person you possibly can be. So if I know things, it's my duty to share it with you. With all you beautiful people. But today's episode, I want to talk about a little bit about my experience, really short, really concise, in solo therapy sessions as well as group therapy sessions, because I've attended both of them. So solo therapy, I've actually had two therapists. My first therapist got me on the right track. At least he opened my mind to the world of therapy. The reason he was one of two therapists was because things were getting a little weird. What I mean by weird is I think he was misdiagnosing me. At the time, he told me that I was bipolar, and that really freaked me out because at the time I was taking this man's word as truth. And that's actually a word of advice. Therapists are amazing. They are equipped. They have studied patterns of the mind and mental sicknesses and a lot of things. But at the end of the day, remember that they're human as well. So that doesn't mean invalidate them. Don't say, oh, well, they're just human, then they have nothing to teach me. We all have something to teach one another. That's why we all have our own specialties, because it's a specialty. We specialize in this specialty, and this specialty we can teach other people this topic that's not their specialty. And then you teach me your specialty, I teach you mine, and round we go. Iron sharpens iron, and we all grow and become healthy together and have wisdom and knowledge because we learn from one another. One person can't learn it all. There's way too much information in this world for one person to gather everything. So we need to take what we can from everyone else, but take it with a grain of salt. So listen to it, but at the same time, apply their words to yourself. No one knows yourself better than you do. So it's interesting because after my first therapist, when he started diagnosing me as bipolar, that just didn't sit right. I'm like, I don't think I'm bipolar. And that's what caused me to look for a second therapist. And I really appreciate my second therapist because in the very first phone call I had with my second therapist, I told him, I was like, my first therapist is telling me that I am bipolar. And within 5-10 minutes conversation, the new therapist said, you're not bipolar. How do you know that, sir? And he said, people who are bipolar know that they're bipolar. Sweet. So that's a little history as to why I had two therapists. But solo therapy is interesting. You have, of course, the Hollywood representation of therapy where you see people in movies and they're laying on a couch and telling the therapist their life stories. And that's very true. There's a lot of truth to that. But a lot of people have a negative stigma that they're a therapist that just sit there and let you talk the whole time. And you're just going to make yourself feel better because you're the one talking the whole time. And by you talking, you're going to figure out your own problems. And, oh, well, why do I need to go to therapy and spend all this money? I can just talk to myself at home and figure out my own problems. That's not 100% true. Again, these are specialists. Again, they're human, number one. And two, just because you have the title of therapist doesn't mean you're a good therapist. There's a lot of people in a lot of different professions that have the title, but it doesn't mean that they're good at it. So unfortunately, just like with relationships, there might be a little bit of trial and error when it comes to finding a great therapist for you. But it's necessary. It's essential. Please go seek out a therapist. I'm glad you're tuning into the channel, but this is just a seed being planted. This is not the end all be all. I'm not saying come to my channel every Thursday and you'll be healed. No, I just want to share the information that I have, the wisdom that I have, the experience that I've learned. But this is a catalyst to push you in the right direction to actually seek out a licensed therapist. Please find someone that you're comfortable with, whether it's someone of your own sex, of your own ethnicity, whatever it is. Find someone that you're comfortable with that is a professional, licensed professional that knows what they're doing. And again, it may be trial and error. The first guy might not work out, so you have to go to the second guy, maybe a third guy. For me, it was two. Thankfully, my second therapist, Richard, has been phenomenal, and I love the man. Richard, if you're watching this, salute. Thank you so much for being a part of my life and my healing journey. But solo therapy is a lot of questions, especially like the first maybe 2-3 sessions. You're really answering a lot of questions. And the reason is because the therapist wants to get to know you. He wants to know your history. He wants to know your background. And that's tough because if you're in the midst of a really crazy situation and you're like, dude, I need help. Stop asking me questions like provide a remedy. I need your help. Like I went there and that's how I was. The whole reason I got propelled into therapy was because I was going through a divorce at the time. My ex-wife had kicked me out of the house and I was just bugging out. I was freaking out. Like, what am I going to do with my life now? And I'm like, crap, my issues are a real problem. I need to get things serious and get this taken care of, which pushed me to therapy. Whatever your rock bottom is, use it to your advantage and to go seek out therapy. So I'm there, and in the moment I needed answers, I needed help, I wanted the situation to get figured out and fixed, and unfortunately things just don't happen overnight. It's a process and you got to dig deep. A lot of questions were asked of me, my background, things I've gone through, relationship with parents, any personal traumas that I went through. And once the therapist has a feel for you, then he or she can start giving their professional suggestions and professional advice and pushing you in the right direction. But they kind of need that history first. So when you attend therapy, be prepared for that. Be prepared that the first few sessions we may not be able to dig right deep into it because you have to get a little bit of background. The therapist has to understand who you are, what you come from, so that they can give appropriate advice. Because if not, you don't want just random advice from anyone. You want it tailored to your situation because, hey, I'm here. I'm an individual, unique person. Don't give me your cookie cutter approach that can apply to anyone, because no approach can apply to anyone. Everybody has a different history, a different background, different experiences, different traumas. So my experience with it was great. Like I said, I did a video on EMDR. My wonderful therapist, Richard, introduced me to that. EMDR just changed my world, changed my life, helped me heal from past trauma, and it was wonderful. And honestly, you have to go to therapy with the right mindset. My mindset was, I need to get healed, and I will do whatever it takes to get that healing. If you have that mindset when you attend therapy, the world is your oyster. Like, the therapist is wonderful because the therapist can only help people who want to be helped. If you don't want to be helped, if you're not willing to change certain things in your life, it's really a waste of everyone's time, a waste of your money, because you get to spend on therapy unless you attend a free program. But you have to be open and willing and necessary to be wrong, willing to change, willing to just adjust your life to allow healing to take place. But solo therapy is really interesting. You're just talking one-on-one with a person. You're answering questions. You're sharing your experiences. They may ask you classic questions like, well, how does that make you feel? That's genuine. And the reason they ask that is because they want you. It's not for them necessarily. It's for you. How do you feel? How did that situation make you feel? That is you getting to know yourself, which is one of my favorite topics to talk about. Getting to know yourself. How did that make me feel? Why did it make me feel that way? How can I change that going forward? These are great questions to ask yourself to implement change in your life. So that's solo therapy, talking to a one-on-one person, hopefully getting comfortable, being able to share your deep, dark secrets, your problems. Hopefully you have somebody that's invested in you, that believes in you, that wants to see you become the best person possible and wants to be a part of your healing. And that's great. Again, trial and error. You might find somebody who sucks, and nobody's perfect in their profession, but find somebody that fits you well. So one of the things too, I also attended group therapy, and that was interesting. I personally, again, this is all personal. I personally thought group therapy was a little weird. I understand it. It's nice to have, they say misery loves company. So when you have your issues that you're going to therapy to get healed, it's nice to know that you're not alone. So that's one of the benefits of group therapy. It's nice to know, hey, I'm not the only one suffering from X, Y, and Z. Look at this guy. Look at this person. Look at this woman. Like, it's nice to have common ground with people. But here was my biggest pet peeve with group therapy is that in this group, I think I was a part of 2 groups. Yeah. But one of these groups, no more than maybe 10, 12, 13 people in this group, but it was the same consistent people every week. And I remember some of these people, and they were saying, I've been attending this program 5 years, 6 years, 7, 10 years, 15 years. And this blows my mind. Like, I'm thinking, if we're in a place to get healed and to get changed, this should be a temporary place. So group therapy, in my opinion, and I from what I've experienced, can backfire because you, like they say, misery loves company. You can get too comfortable owning your disease, owning your mental illness, owning your setbacks, and because you're around other people that are struggling with that too. Oh, well, hey, I'm not alone. There's other people like me. I'm okay. Maybe I'm not that bad. Look at it. I'm not the only one that's suffering with this. So honestly, those people being there 5, 10 plus years motivated the hell out of me to get over my stuff sooner than later. Because I was like, I do not want to be like this guy who's been here 5 years. I don't want to be like that guy who's been here 10 years. So whatever I need to do, let's do it, and let's do it quick. But again, that was my attitude. I came there hungry, prepared, ready to get healed. Some other people may take them longer. They may not be ready to heal. They may not be ready to let go of old things, and it's just so ingrained in them that it takes longer than other people. So again, it's all relative. It's all based on your experience. There is no one right way. But me personally, again, this is just my experience. Therapy was awesome. Solo therapy was awesome. I had to go through the first one to get to the second one, and I saw tremendous change with my second therapist. And then the group therapy was good because it let me know that I wasn't the only one struggling with my issues. However, I saw other people there that have been there a crazy long amount of time, and that motivated me to not be like those people and to get healed and get out of there as soon as possible. And I'm a better person because of it. So that's my experience with solo therapy, group therapy. I can go in a lot more, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a brief Mile High overview. If you have any more questions, please reach out to me. I'd love to talk about it more in detail. But yeah, that's my experience with solo and group therapy. Thank you again, guys, as always, for tuning in to Therapy Thursdays. Please follow me on all my social media channels at Positive Marcus. Please sign up for my mailing list on my website at sharethepositivity.com. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to this channel. Click the little red box. Like this video. Comment on this video. Share this video. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Peace.